I forgot. You're broken. I don't want to play with you anymore.
Hey guys, it's the Pink King here. Well, look at what we have here. Glitch, 1 month after Murder Drones concluded, have uploaded episode 3 to the amazing digital circus, and just in time for spooky season as well. Ain't that neat? So, how was this new episode? Well, it was actually pretty good. Yeah, I'm going to be honest here, I was not expecting much from this episode at all, seeing as it was going to be a sort of haunted house adventure. In addition to how well made the last episode was, I was at first hesitant as they would actually be able to pull it off and make it better than the last episode, but I could not be more happy to be proven wrong here. This episode was an absolute blast from start to finish. The comedy was honestly such an improvement upon the previous episode, where I felt like the last episode fell a bit flat in terms of the comedy. This one managed to pick itself back up with a lot of jokes that caught me really off guard, but most of all, the biggest improvement here was the character development. In this episode, we got more insight into the very unknown character, Kinga. And not only was his story well done, it got me thinking. You see, watching this episode has made me realise that this episode and this series is actually doing the opposite to what their neighbours across the indie animation space are doing. Helluva Boss. Now, I've talked about Helluva Boss only a few days ago, so it's still fresh in my mind. And so seeing this episode from Amazing Digital Circus right after watching Helluva Boss just made me realise the gigantic difference in quality here. So I want to talk about that today, and in particular how the Amazing Digital Circus is doing what Helluva Boss could not. But before we begin, do consider subscribing. It has been a long dream of mine now to get to 5,000 subscribers, and we are literally just so close to doing that. So my challenge for you is to subscribe to this channel and like this video right now. If you want more content just like this, then subscribing not only helps me out, but you'll help me be reaching my goals. If we can get 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, I've got something special planned for all of you. A very fun video in mind, but we have to get to 5,000 subscribers first. So, subscribe, and let's get back to the video. So, what exactly did the Amazing Digital Circus do that Helluva Boss has not done in, well, a few years at this point? Well, let's start with the obvious. The characters. I've made no secret of it for a while now, how much I don't like the direction Vivziepop and her crew have taken Helluva Boss's characters, with how they have managed to overdo certain characters as well as completely ignore others, resulting in a cast of characters who don't flow with each other at all, and ultimately come across as inconsistent. But when looking at the Digital Circus, it's the complete opposite here. In only 3 episodes, I already understand most of these characters, who they are, and what their relationships with each other are. Not to mention, they leave the door open perfectly for us to want to know more in the future, to expand upon. Pomni is a girl who's lost, afraid and a bit traumatized, but sweet and compassionate to others. Ragatha is a very thoughtful, kind person who just wants to cheer everyone up and get through the day as smooth as possible, as well as being the straight man to Jax's crazy antics, and much more unempathetic and cruel personality. And then with Kinga, I understand how he is a broken man who seeks comfort in the darkness, and although he may come across as crazy and insane to everyone else, there is genuine reason behind it, and it's genuinely traumatic and sad. All this information is given to the audience not only verbally but visually, with it being organic and healthy, spaced apart from each other, so it's able to go into the audience's mind much more effectively. Then you look at Helluva Boss. Outside of maybe Blitzo and Stolas and Moxie, I barely know any of the characters here. Millie is a very blank slate who barely gets screen time, And Luna is mostly rude all the time or is shy, but we never understand why. We don't need to know the reason why, we just have to understand why she would do this, and they give us nothing. The striking difference here in consistency or lack thereof, Helluva Boss feels so cluttered and overbearing, with it giving multiple episodes back to back to only one plotline and characters, like Blitz and Stolas, and then will only give 5 to 8 minutes of development in one single episode to other characters. So not only do you overuse a story and make it boring and stale, but you make this team show feel like a solo show, and this should be far from what the creators are trying to do with Helluva Boss. After all, if you've got so many characters, why are you focusing on only 2? And then you have the difference that is most severe, and that is progression. Digital Circus so far has had a fantastic progression, with each episode teaching us more about this world and its characters as it goes along, keeping the viewer interested through new dynamics we had no idea were there until they bring it up. Stuff like Kinga's development. Not only did his scenes in episode 3 feel engaging, but it makes rewatching the show so much better, because it now brings a new perspective to something that we had no idea before. It feels rewarding to us as a viewer, and makes them want to look for more hidden details, but with Helluva Boss, it's rarely progressing, as some episodes, like that last 2 we just had, will completely halt on a certain storyline. Whether it's Stolas and Blitz or Blitz and Fizz, the show likes to stay within a certain area, and so those plotlines that they love to reuse over and over and over again quickly get old and tired, and it feels like a chore to the viewer in order to watch it, as it comes across as lazy rehashing rather than eye-opening. That's why I use the comparison of a fanfic. It doesn't feel professional, it feels like something made by someone who has no idea what they're doing. And if you're a series that's already way into its season 2 like Helluva Boss, that's the last thing you want to be. Ultimately, the difference between these similar projects is not their animation, their studio, but rather the fact that one show understands perfectly what it is, who it's appealing to, and how to keep that consistency going, and the other is making it up as it goes along, throwing the same things at the wall hoping they stick again, rather than trying anything new and try to meaningfully make the viewer interested in what they're making. Remember, these are not issues around budget, animation, or even concepts, but rather writing. Writing can often make or break a series just like this, and so far it seems that that has been letting down Helluva Boss, and Digital Circus has been thriving. And if you want more proof, it's in the pudding. Where Helluva Boss has been gradually declining in viewership, with more and more episodes having less and less views, Digital Circus has been taking off, with it exceeding Helluva Boss's views easily in mere days, with their most viewed video way bigger than Helluva Boss's most viewed video. Now granted, it's still in its infancy, I understand that, but no Helluva Boss episode period has gotten anywhere near the amount of views as Digital Circus has, and it's all because one is engaging to its audience and genuinely tries to do something new for them, and the other is just plain boring. That is the ultimate difference. But what do you guys think? Remember, these are just my opinions here. You can disagree with me if you want. My word is not always law. In fact, let's discuss it in the comments. If you have any opinions of your own, or like maybe I missed something, then talk about it in the comments. I read every single one of your guys' comments, so if you want to talk about something, I can talk about it with you. Or if you want a more personal conversation, then join my Discord. The link for that is in the description. Come join the Discord and we can have a lot of talk about this sort of stuff. But with that, it's been the Pink King here, and I will see you all next time.